All righty. Hi, this is Rosalyn Kahn, and I am here with Community of Unity, welcoming us to an incredible, amazing lady. This is Miss Janet Fishman, and she is the supreme of people in the world of organizing. She not only has a degree in law, but she has many certifications as a professional organizer. And what I love especially about her is her care and her compassion of working with seniors. So, take it away, sweetheart. How does organizing affect every aspect of one's life?
So everything that we do, we get up in the morning and how our day evolves, it can either be organized or not organized. And if it's not organized, you might forget about things that you have to do. You might forget about calls you have to make. You might forget about bills that you have to pay, webinars that you have to be on. It affects relationships. It affects its impact if you are trying to get your financial plans made with a financial advisor or an attorney, you're trying to do your estate planning, or if you run a business. All of this involves organizing. Trying to run a household. Do you have groceries? Do you have gasoline in your car? Everything in life involves organizing.
No, that is certainly so true indeed. You know, it's amazing. I wonder the question is it some people are born as organized and other people are disorganized and struggle. What is that?
So there's many different reasons why people are disorganized. Some is because the world and our lives are so busy, so we don't have time. Some people miss the executive function skills during their childhood, and this can cause people to be disorganized their whole life because in that developmental phase in childhood is where people learn to make decisions, where did they learn to focus, where they learn to be organized, to stay on task. And if they miss that developmental skill, then they will struggle their whole lives. Other people can have ADD, ADHD, OCD. This can contribute to being disorganized, not always, but it can. People can have grown up in homes where their families had the hoarding issues.
Mhm.
And this can impact, if that's what they knew growing up, they may have the continue with the hoarding disorder in their lives. There's also aging issues as people age and maybe their physical abilities become limited. Maybe they used to be able to take out their trash every day. Well, if they are in a wheelchair or a walker or in a confined to a bed, they can't do it. So stuff piles up. If they are losing their physical or their mental cognition, they may be forgetting to open their mail, forgetting to pay their bills, forgetting to mail in their tax return. And so the aging process there can cause people to get disorganized. So there's many issues. One of the things our society and even our school system has often caused people to is to focus on their weaknesses. Oh, you're not good in math. We'll do 10 more hours of math homework this week. And really, people should focus on their strengths in life. And that's what I try. The name of my company is Hope Organizers. And I bring hope to my clients because I often get desperate calls, people crying. I've been disorganized my whole life. Everything's a mess. I'm not paying my bills on time. And, I can hear the lack of self-confidence and the lack of self-esteem. And I'll ask them, well, are you highly creative and highly intelligent? And they'll be shocked that I ask that. And they'll go, how do you know? And I go, well, that usually kind of, tells me what that is, because your skill strength is in the highly creative realm or the highly intellectual realm. And frankly, you should be staying there because that's the gift that you give to the world. And let someone else who loves organizing and loves paper deal with that. And they all of a sudden, they change, they start feeling more confident. And I come in and I organize with them and we accomplish all these projects and all clear their tables and all their things that's bothered them. And they now, I can see just a change in their personality. They're now feeling confident, and they're feeling much like, more empowered because we've got them organized. And meanwhile, they've continued to do what they're good at, and they're gifting the world with their talents.
Wow. Well, that brings me to a couple thoughts you said. You said there's a certain time period in their life where they don't learn the skill. Is there an age or a number where the skill is acquired or developed, or does it vary?
Well, I'm not a psychologist or a teacher, but what I've read is that the executive function skills can develop. It can be many years from very young to early teens, or maybe even later. I do remember being, when I was in like high school and college, I used to love to write term papers, research them and write them. And I remember other students struggling with this. And they would tell the teacher, oh, I don't have my outline to turn in. I don't have my notes. And I never could understand it. But years later, when I became an organizer, I realized that those students were probably students that missed the executive function developmental phase. And it's not something clear cut. It's not something easy to know. And I think, like I said, a therapist or a doctor would be able to know more, or a teacher. But I just remember that from my childhood. And for me, I enjoyed it because I was involving organizing notes, researching. And then I had my
Right.
notes on the note cards, and I shuffled them around and got them organized, and then I could write. And I just remember loving that. And I remember being in junior college, a student in front of me just got mad at me because I said to the teacher, are you on our papers? I was all excited that I finished my research paper. And he goes like, he made some remark, and it's like, it has stuck with me all these years later. But I realized that he was really good at talking. He was really good at his public persona around the campus, holding office. So for him, that was his talent. But this behind the scenes researching and writing was not. And I used to think, there's, I don't get it. But now as an organizer, I do understand why he had that problem.
I know some of the challenges some people have is they come in and they have someone organize their place, but it just goes back to the way that it was.
Yes. So there's
Why does that
something called,
happen?
right. So there is something called chronically disorganized. And that is what I see among people that are highly intelligent and highly creative. And again, they may have missed those executive function skills. They may have something like ADHD. And it's okay, because that's why I'm busy. And again, they probably have a skill set that they're super good at, and they should run with that. They should, if they're an author, they should keep writing those books. If they're a movie or TV producer or writer and they're making movies, they should keep doing that, because that is where their talent lies, their strength lies. And instead of beating themselves up on their weakness, which may be, keeping things organized, they should delegate that to an organizer. I like to give a comparison. If you own a house, the grass keeps growing, right? The lawn keeps growing, and it's got to be mowed weekly or every other week. If you wear clothing, the laundry keeps growing, right? We take our clothes off and the laundry pile keeps growing. Why? Because that's the way it works. So it's the same thing with maintaining organizing. The mail keeps coming, the papers keep coming, the works, things keep coming, and you hire a gardener to take care of the lawn, perhaps. You hire a housekeeper to take care of the laundry, perhaps, or you take it to the dry cleaners. You got to have an organizer come in on a regular basis if you're one of these people that are chronically disorganized. And if you desire to be organized and you think and you function better in an organized environment, have an organizer come in on a regular basis and keep you organized. So
Wow.
there's nothing to be ashamed about. Years ago, things were kind of hush hush. People were more embarrassed about their conditions of their home. But nowadays, with all the TV shows, with a lot of the speakers coming out, being disorganized is a very much more in the forefront now, and the professional organizers are extremely busy.
Oh, that's cool. There's another question that I had, something about the pandemic. What have you seen has been happening in the pandemic with people and life and organization going up, going down, causing more or less calls, or how has that impacted your business?
Yes. Well, myself and many of my colleagues in the NAPO organization, the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals, and I'm also a member of what's called ICD, the Institute for Challenging Disorganization, and ADAM, which is the American Association of Daily Money Managers. We've been busier than ever. And one of the reasons for that is people have been staying home. And in pre-COVID, everyone was rushing out of their house every day, rushing to get their kids to school, rushing to work, come home at the end of the day, rushing to the grocery store, rushing to get dinner ready, rushing to get the homework done, rushing to get the kids to bed. So people were just so super busy, they didn't see their clutter. And the fact that people now are sitting in their space throughout the day, throughout the weeks, throughout the months, all of a sudden they're looking around and they're going, oh my goodness, it's, I got a bunch of stuff over there and a bunch of stuff over here. And oh my goodness, they didn't notice it before. And there's something called adaptation or colorblind. It's like color blindness or clutter blindness, where if you have here's an example. If you have a Post-it that you put on your bathroom mirror, remember to pick up the dry cleaning, and you put it there. The next morning, the first day that it's there, you see it. Maybe the second day you see it. After that Post-it has been there about a week, guess what? You don't see it anymore. You have adapted, your eyes have adapted to that Post-it being there, and you ignore it. And that's the same thing that happens with clutter. So you go to a conference, you come back with a tote bag that you picked up at the conference, filled with all the handouts and the papers and the tchotchkes promo items that they gave you at the conference, and you put it down on the floor next to your desk. And you go, oh, I've been gone from work for a week. I got to catch up on this, on my mail and emails that have piled up while I'm gone. And so you leave the tote bag. I'll get to the tote bag. I'm going to review my notes. I'm going to review the brochures. I'm going to review everything. A week goes by, 2 weeks go by, a month goes by, that bag is still there, and eventually your eyes have adapted. It becomes invisible. You don't see it anymore. And guess what? It's still there 5 years later. Wow. And that is where I come in and I get that bag unpacked. And it's like this with everything. Those are the reasons why we've been very busy this COVID year. I picked up a lot of new clients because people are seeing their clutter and they need to perform well now. They are functioning at home. They need to be able to be more productive. And therefore, clutter is all of a sudden, they're really suffering. They're feeling the effects of the clutter. It's interfering with their creativity, their clarity of mind. They're missing papers, forgetting to pay bills. Mail has gotten all over the house. Client paperwork has got mixed up with other client paperwork. It causes marital and family relationship issues. Kids don't want to have their friends come over because they're embarrassed about the condition of the house. So organizers have been quite busy this year.
Wow, wow. Now, are there some simple tips that you could give to people, 5 simple things that they could do to just help themselves if they said, gosh, an organizer costs a lot of money. Are there simple things that we could tell to people? Here's a thing that you could do.
Yes. And yes, people may think that organizers cost a lot of money, but it's for many people, it's for some people, it might be a luxury. For most people, it's a necessity. That money is so well spent, because otherwise they're so stressed out. They're going to be needing to go to see a doctor, a therapist, medicine, but then they walk back into the exact source of the stress. So for most people, organizing is a necessity. My five, I'll give you some five or maybe even more tips. One of my favorite tips is make an appointment with yourself. Just this morning, I was helping one of my clients. For the month of May, we were blocking off appointments for her to work on a special project that she needs to work on. Just like you make an appointment to go see the dentist or the doctor or the car mechanic, you make appointments with yourself to get things done. So if I like to use a calendar that has 15-minute increments, and you can say, you know, at 10 o'clock, I'm calling the bank. 10:15, I'm calling the insurance company. At 10:30, I'm going to the grocery store. At 10:45, I'm getting my car washed. Write down when, the day that you're going to do something, and the time. Then it comes out of your mind onto your calendar. You don't have to worry and fret over this. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. It's there. You know the day that you're going to do it this week, the time. You now cleared your head of that mental clutter. Another tip is to really clear the furniture and the rooms of the house so that they can operate as for their function. The dining room table is meant to sit and eat at, right?
Really? I was curious about that one. Huh. Never thought of that.
Some people want to use it to pile their magazines on, to do their arts and crafts, to do their work, but then it can't be used for that purpose. I've gone into homes where the beds are covered with clothing and the people are sleeping in a king-size bed in, you know, tiny little space. Got to get those clothes cleared off. This is a big one. I think this affects a lot of people. The garage is normally used to put the car in, you know, to protect it from the sun, the heat, the snow, the sleet. But many people use it as a storage of 25, 30, 40 years worth of, you know, storing their life. So helping people clear their rooms, clear their pieces of furniture for the intended purpose is really, really important. Another tip is open your mail daily. I have gone into homes where I've had to take weeks to go through 10 years of boxes filled with mail and paper. And one of the fun things I often find cash in there for them. I often find uncashed checks. Another biggie, one of my really big things is make sure you're checking your bank accounts and your credit cards. I see this almost every day. And during COVID, what happened during COVID was a lot of my regular clients, especially a lot of them being seniors, that I do watch their mail and their credit card statements and their banking, is I didn't come for like 2 months. And when I arrived, they had fraud on their credit cards, on their bank accounts. It was more risky with that, the financial risks, than the COVID risk. And so people are relying too much these days on the banks and the credit cards managing their money. And they're not knowing that the bank has not charged, double charged, undercharged, overcharged. They're not watching their credit card statements and seeing that there's some fraudulent charge that's being hit, you know, every day. I had one client who had $1,200 during COVID. Something donation was being hit like $50, like almost every single day, and she didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So that's one of my is boiling my blood these days, is that people are relying on everything's automated. Okay, great, it's automated, but how do you know that they didn't make a mistake? And the mistakes are happening day in and day out. So
let me just interrupt you for a quick second. I do some work with that stuff, and it is true that the criminals are out there 5 and 10 times over, just having a heyday. And some important advice I'd like to just share from my own experience, because I do a side job on the side, is if someone ever calls you, then people don't call you to tell you that you have these problems. And I unfortunately got a phone call, gave out some information I shouldn't have given, and I've gotten calls from PayPal. I've gotten calls. You know, there was a warrant out for my arrest and this, that, and the other thing. And the person said, a very important point, and it's you got to change the passwords to those ones that you get paid automatically. The automatic bill pays. It took 50, 45 minutes to go ahead and make those changes. And if you do nothing else, in your life when you look at the mail, is go through the credit card bill and make sure that what's on there are things that you actually paid for.
Exactly.
And that's
And
if that's the only thing that you do when you look at that mail, is making sure that you pay it, and looking for those unknown ones. I mean, that is absolutely critical.
that's right. And this is why I said at the very beginning, organizing or disorganizing affects everything in our lives. So if one is not organized with their mail, then this will happen. And another thing is shut off your log out of your online accounts, your emails, your banks, because if these passwords remain open, the scammers are strolling for open airways, and they can get into your email and send out all kinds of fraudulent and learn about you and know when you're going on vacation, because they're looking at your emails and they can see, oh, she's got an airline ticket coming up and she's made arrangements for the dog to go into the kennel, and like all of these things, they're watching your life. So log out. And all the technology these days, it really drives me crazy. Every time I go into my email, there's a check mark automatically in the box that says save this password or stay logged in for 2 weeks. Like, no, I don't want it, but I can't remove that. The technology has set it up now where we're supposed to have our lives online. All the privacy is gone. So you really have to, again, be organized and take control of your privacy and security.
No, it is just so absolutely vital. You hit some really good points about making appointments, making sure that you check things on a regular basis, of going through the mail and the hoarders and so on and so forth. And I came, kind of intellectually minded, sorry about that. But I was wondering, is this considered a psychological disorder? I mean, it
So
sounds just like, as you're going ahead and describing these things, that depression. And there's a lot of people in our world right now that are really truly
depressed
depressed,
because,
more so than
yeah.
ever. People on suicide and, drugs and alcohols and so on and so forth. Um,
So let me tell you that the hoarding disorder, and we use the word hoarding disorder because we don't want to label people with the word hoarder. So it's a disorder that actually is a mental illness. It is in the DSM-5 book. This is the Bible for therapists. And it has, years ago, it was associated with other issues like ADHD or OCD, but about, I don't know, I think 15, 20 years ago, they made it stand as its own mental illness. And there are 5 levels that have been identified by ICD, the Institute for Challenging Disorganization. It's from the mild hoarding all the ways up to the very severe hoarding. And that's, the severe ones are where you see the people are trapped in their house. Their plumbing doesn't work. They have dead animals in there. That's a severe hoarding. And so usually it's associated with some trauma that's been in the person's life, and loss, and people are holding on. And it does require working with a cognitive behavioral therapist if one wants to overcome this. That could be a whole separate conversation. The definition, people often, they use kind of the, hoarding sort of as a joke, like, oh, I'm hoarding, blah, blah, blah. But really it's more, they don't have time. the definition of hoarding is excessively acquiring an inability to let go. They take these items and they assign a personality to these items. Now, a house could be very disorganized, look like it might be a hoarding situation. But if I come in and I say to the person, okay, you've got, this and this and this, I think you can let it go. Oh yeah, sure, throw it away. Let's get rid of it. If they are able and willing to throw things away, they do not have the hoarding disorder.
Right.
So I caution people about thinking that they have the hoarding disorder. If they can let go, they probably don't. They're just chronically disorganized.
Now, you had also mentioned something about all these qualifications and these certifications. What percentage of the people have those, and why was it so important? I know you have a law degree and several certifications of different organizations. What made you do it? What percent do and what percent don't, and why was that significant to you?
So I don't know percentage, but I can say that a lot of people that have become professional organizers through NAPO have come from other fields, like I did. And we bring them that knowledge into our organizing field. There are so then they will have had their degrees that they had from their other careers. I know there's social workers, there's engineers, there's lawyers, there's all people with all different backgrounds, which then helps what they're going to do. But as an organizer, you can go on and you can get something, become a certified organizer. You can take classes through ICD. Like I have several certifications through ICD. I've done some advanced trainings through ICD, the Institute for Challenging Disorganization. I'm insured, I am bonded, and I have been background checked by ADAM, the American Association of Daily Money Managers. So I've gone on and taken some of this advanced education. I've gotten insurance because we go in and we could knock over, break a vase. One time I knocked over water and it went into someone's computer. So things can happen. If one is shopping for an organizer, you should try to find one that, is insured, bonded. I've been background checked, like I said. I take my career very seriously, so I'm always doing advanced trainings. I'm a member of several associations. So there's people out there that call themselves organizers, but they haven't taken on some of these additional qualifications. So those are important if one is searching for an organizer.
Wow, that sounds really good. Now, there's another question here is, do you work with any clients, see any similarities between clients and their particular areas of neglect?
Particular areas of neglect, I think paper is probably one of the areas that is the hardest to organize for most people. I do see that among people. And from people that have maybe very organized homes to people that don't. And this is where I've specialized is paper, because I have the law degree, because I've worked in the corporate world, and because I've had several businesses. I'm very familiar with banking papers, real estate papers, insurance papers, brokerage papers, medical claim papers. So because of my background, I have developed a niche for working with paper. I love going through tons and tons of paper. I know how to organize it. I know what the retention guidelines are for keeping paper and not keeping paper. So I still will organize a whole home. I'm still a generalist organizer, but I get a lot of calls for paper organizing and helping people manage their mail, their bills, making sure that they're paid on time.
Wow, that certainly is a godsend. And so, how is it that people can reach out to you and get in touch with you? What can they do to get a hold of you? I know it took us five months for me to just get you on the show. You were so busy, and I tried to move it. And you said no, can't do. We got to get it at this exact time. So you are a busy beaver, baby. So what is your waiting list to sign up for the program?
So they give me a call or they can email me. My website is www.hopeorganizers.com. HOPEORGANIZERS.com.
Uh-huh.
And my email is Janet, JANET, at hopeorganizers.com. And you can reach me at 818-349-6330, 818-349-6330. And I'll talk to people and find out what their needs are. And then we look at the calendar and we schedule a date and we get started. And I have many clients that I go to regularly and depending on what they need, for years.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you have any special gift you'd like to offer to people who are listening on today's show? In case they see this and they like it and say, hey, you know, tell me what kind of special thing can you offer?
Sure. So I will give a 30-minute free complimentary Zoom. They can walk around their house with their Zoom or their WhatsApp video, and we'll talk about areas of their space that they could get organized. We'll talk about their needs, and then if they decide they want to move forward, we'll set dates.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay, we're on the last and final question. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
So, if today was the last day of your life, and this was the last message that you could give to the world, and you had to say something that you'd never said before, what would be that most important message you would want humanity to know?
Never to give up hope. And that's where how I got my name. Actually, I was helping a woman who, it was a hoarding situation. She was getting a reverse mortgage. The mortgage broker sent me there because they couldn't even bring an appraiser in. When I went, I could not see her dining room. I could not see that there was a computer on the dining table. I could not see that there were chairs. I started organizing, clearing out. At the end of the session, you now could see that there was a table there, that there were chairs, that there was a computer. And I said, how do you like it? She goes, oh, I love it. I love it. I turned around to collect my supplies. I turned back and she was crying. And I said, why are you crying? You told me that you like this. And she says, I'm crying because you gave me hope that I haven't had in 10 years. And I left. And the first 6-7 years of me being an organizer, I was just operating under my name, Janet Fishman, Organizer. And I left there and the light bulb went on and I said, that's it. I'm changing my name to Hope Organizers, because that is the emotion that I want to give to my clients. I want my clients to feel that there's always hope.
Wow. Well, I remember that time that I heard you at the GSFE and you were standing up there and talking, and I just said, I put a post on your page and I said, this is the kindest, most heart-centered person that you can have that's going to work with you. She doesn't make any judgments of who you are and what you're about. And so I want to let people know, if you need an organizer, it's worth the money to get someone who's going to help you to get your life back together in the way that you need to have it happen, because we can all live a more organized life. And I just want to say gratitude beyond words. I'll put this in the notes of your information of how they can reach out and get a hold of you. And thank you so much. And this is Rosalyn with Community to Unity, just bringing our world together one step at a time, making it closer. So we will go ahead and say sayonara,
Thank you,
namaste,
Rosa.
and thank you so
Thank
very much. God bless
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.